So great. Welcome all again. We are now live on YouTube, at least so that we can have a recording after this. I'm a little bit under the weather. I think I was even sharing with some of my friends this week. I went for a COVID test just to really. Sorry. My mic is mute, so let me unmute it. Okay, so I hope you can hear me. What I was saying is that I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm well. This week I went for a COVID test just to make sure that that bug is not what I have. But today I'll try and keep it short. And what I was thinking today, just to share with everybody who has really found time to come and join us for the Bitcoin 101, is understanding really what money is. We start from the scratch because I think a lot of people come to Bitcoin as a way of us hedging ourselves to making money. But if you think about it broadly, do we really understand money? Do we know the properties of money? Do we understand how currencies have grown to where they are today? So today I just want briefly to go over that. And then after that, we can have Q&A. So I'll open today for anybody to just ask any question they have. So allow me to share my screen so that we can just go ahead and get to understand why do bitcoins or where or how why do bitcoin have value? Why do bitcoin have value? Because if you truly understand why bitcoin have value, we'll get to understand a whole lot of things around it. So allow me to share my screen so that we can just get started without wasting a whole lot of time. So welcome all. It's always a pleasure. Let me share the YouTube link over here so that you can maybe share with your friends also. So I've copied the link over there. We're live on YouTube. So allow me to share my screen so that we can just go ahead and really discuss. So I hope all of you can see my screen. And uh, what I want us to really share and discuss today is why do bitcoins have value? And for us to get to understand these, I think we can only understand it if we come from a point of do we really understand even what gives money value? Because I think it's after I jumped into this rabbit hole of really understanding cryptocurrency and money in particular. I didn't think I knew money as a currency medium of exchange issued by central bank and backed by gold. Apparently, all I knew about money was wrong. So today, I just want to us to go through why do bitcoins have value, or do it have value? So, of course, this is a story that was written by John P. Keller. He's one of the people. Again, like I say, in our research, we come across people who really do go in depth to discuss and help people really understand what cryptocurrencies are. And we do a whole lot of research at Decrypt so that we can have the right information to share with people. This week, I was listening to a podcast before we start our presentation, and I think all this time, people have known Bitcoin as a store of value. And a lot of people will say Bitcoin is better off like as a store of value. But I came to learn, and it's something I've been thinking. Bitcoin is not just a currency or a store of value. Bitcoin is a network. And this someone, the person who was explaining these, just to help you understand better, is that this is someone who's been trading gold for over 30 years over that year. So he totally understands gold from the point of store of value because gold has only few use cases. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, he said Bitcoin is bigger than a store of value because that's just one component. If you think of Bitcoin, think of it as a network, like what internet is, because there's so much you can do. There's so much you can do with Bitcoin, and it will blow your mind just to know that we are in the early stages of Bitcoin, and gold cannot really compete with Bitcoin at all because it's a whole ecosystem, it's a whole network. So Of course, John says Bitcoin offers efficient means of transferring money over the internet. It's controlled by a decentralized network with a transparent set of rules that presentive alternative to central bank controlled fiat money. And I think one of the key thing when Satoshi Nakamoto started Bitcoin, it was not to compete with the fiat currency more so. It was to bring freedom of which was not there when it comes to fiat currency, control and freedom. So they wanted to give freedom back to people. I think that was the biggest reason as to why they were looking forward, or he or she was looking forward, this person was looking forward to coming up with Bitcoin. So of course there has been a lot of people talk about price of Bitcoin. I think this is one of the key components of what draws people to Bitcoin, and we are set out here to explore what cryptocurrencies price might look like in the event it achieves further widespread of adoption. So that's why today I wanted us to discuss why do Bitcoins have value? Why do they have value? So, of course, Bitcoin and other digital currencies have been touted as alternatives to fiat money. But what gives any type of currency value? And I think it's good we understand from the roots what gives currencies or other currencies value. And why currencies have value? Number one, it's usable if it's as a store of value. But putting it differently, it can be be reliable counted on to maintaining its relative value over time. So and without depreciating. So I think this is one of the key components why we say currencies have value. If it can maintain a certain value over a period of time without really depreciating very fast, you can really take it as a currency. So in many societies, this is before cash. In the history, commodities and precious metals were used as medium methods of payments because they were seen uh, because they were seen to have as having a relative stable value. And I think this is one of the reasons as to why we had the gold standard, because if you check like gold in 2012, gold was 1,700 an ounce. Today, gold is around 1,970 something per ounce. So you see, it has that stable. It's not really like pumping and coming down. It has like a relative stable value, but which is growing without really depreciating. And these are some of the things that really draw people to taking commodity and precious metals as currency. So it's good also to note that rather than individuals to carry around cumbersome quantities of cocoa, beans, gold, and other early forms of currency, however, society eventually turned to minted currency as alternative. So, of course, this is something I've explained before in our Bitcoin 101, that what led to people thinking of now we need alternatives. You can see, number one, it was cumbersome to carry a whole lot of gold or other forms of commodity money back then. So we have now what we call minted currencies. And the reason many examples of minted currencies were usable was because they were reliable store of value. They could not depreciate very fast, and having been made out of metal with long shelf lives and little risk of depreciation. So of course, they could not chip easily, they could not be broken easily and stuff. And these are some of the things that made these currencies, minted currencies, be taken as a form of medium of exchange or currency. So in the modern age, minted currency of taken often take the form of paper money, which does not have to have the same intrinsic value as coins made from precious metals. Of course, I think in 1971, that's when the gold standard was abolished, and I think we'll read that in a few. So it's good to note. I said today we just want to go through the history for people who are new in the space, so that you can get to understand where do Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies really gain or gather their value. So perhaps even more likely, though, individuals utilize electronic currency payment methods Some currencies, some type of currencies rely on the fact that they are representative, meaning each coin or note can be directly exchanged for a specified amount of commodity. I think this is history of money, and most of us just did history of money when we were doing business. We were in business school or history school, history classes, and that was it. After that, we never went to dig deeper. So, however, as countries left the gold standard in 1971, an effort to calm concerns about runs on federal gold supply, many global currencies are now classified as fiat. And it's good to know that the word fiat means I declare. I think this is something I've said before. It's a Latin word that means I declare. So the currency you have in your wallet, the money you have, physical money you have, uh, it's good to know that fiat currency is issued by government through the central banks, and it's not backed by any commodity. I think there's this notion of we knew that the fiat currency we had was backed by gold, but a whole lot of us, I never knew that in 1971 the gold standard was abolished, and now fiat currency governments were given power to declare wherever they print as a currency has value. And this is where the word fiat comes from. So it's not backed by anything, but rather by the fact that individuals, that governments have, that parties will accept that currency. So basically, the currency we use as fiat currency is based on trust and faith that government will print, and the particular individuals in that country or people in that country will accept that as a currency. But if you put it today, students say we don't believe, like, for example, in 1,000 Kenya shillings, I don't think the government can really force it onto people. They can, because there has to be that, we have to believe in our government to a point where we believe that wherever they give us as a currency, we accept it. We accept it. So today, most major global currencies are fiat. Fiat money, which is a declaration. Many governments and societies have found that fiat currency is most durable and least likely to be susceptible to deterioration or loss of value over time. But of course, I'll be talking about these because I don't tend to believe these, because we have the issue of inflation, and I think these are some of the things we really didn't know that happens, because most of the time I always also ask people, the currency you're using today, do you really know how much it loses value in terms of inflation per annum? And I think on the chart we can discuss. Like Ugo, you're in Europe. I'm sure other people are in other countries. Do you really understand how much the currency you hold loses value in terms of inflation per annum? If you can also Google based on where you are at. So these are some traits of money that we really need to understand, or currencies, and it's good for us to sorry about that.
Yes, King. Because if you watch last week,
Yes.
you can exchange €1.
Yes.
€1 is equivalent to 1.10 dollars.
Yes.
But as of today, it is
Yes.
more than that. It is €1 is equals to 1.2, going to 1.3. At times it will keep on. So the inflation is there. And
Yes.
even in the purchasing power of euro, you can easily notice that in the supermarket.
Yes.
You can notice that in the supermarket or big malls, when you will see slight price changes. It may be in cent, but it is something. When you buy it in bulk, you will see the effect. So we did notice really there is inflation, and those inflation is felt in every sector of the economy here. It may
Sure.
be
Sure.
it may be 0.01 cent, but it is something. When you buy only one single thing, you will not feel it. But when you buy it in bulk, you will know that you are losing some money.
True, true. And just a little bit contribution of what Hugo is sharing with us from Europe is that most of us don't really understand why what you could have bought with $10 10 years ago, you can't purchase it today. And I guess most of the time we really don't understand the logic behind that. And then for us, we always say, no, no, the prices are going up. Yet the amount of goods you're buying each and every other time, they are not increasing. In most cases, they are reducing in terms of quantity and also at times quality. So let's continue with the presentation. I want everybody to just Google the rate of inflation and drop it on the chat. When we come to Q&A, we can share more. So I was saying these are the traits of money, and it's good to compare gold, fiat currency. Like I said, these are government printed currencies, and then we have cryptos like Bitcoin. So fungibility is the characteristics of money where it's interchangeable. You can exchange one euro is interchangeable to amount of another currency or any good. It's interchangeable. You can change it for value equivalent to what you have. So when it comes to gold, of course, this fungibility it's high, fiat it's high, and also crypto is very high. Non-consumable, all of them is high. Portability is one another characteristic of money, and for gold is moderate because it really comes down to how much gold do you have, and then issues with security and everything. Of course, for fiat is you can easily carry fiat around, and then for crypto, it's very high because number one, there's nothing you're carrying. You only have your phone, and it's not something you can touch and see. In terms of durability, of course, gold is very high. It's very durable. Fiat currency moderate, and then crypto is high. Divisibility for gold is moderate, fiat moderate, but Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, we all know that Bitcoin, for example, is divisible to 8 decimal places. So it's very divisible. In terms of security, gold can be counterfeited. We've had cases where people talk of fake gold. Currencies can be counterfeited. We have people who have talked of currencies being counterfeited. And then for crypto, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. And then easily transactable, gold is very low. For crypto, it's very easy. And then for fiat also is very high. In terms of scarcity, gold is moderate. And this is where I usually tell people it's very hard to know how much gold is in circulation. It's very hard to know how much gold is in these vaults. We are always told that gold is stored in the central banks and vaults. For fiat currency, in terms of scarcity, it's very low, but for crypto, it's very high. Sovereign, which is government issued, gold is very low, fiat is very high, and crypto is low. Why? Because crypto is not issued by any government. The other one is decentralization. Of course, gold cannot be decentralized. It comes from a central place, which is mine. From mine, it's usually taken to vaults and stored over there. For government, of course, it's not decentralized, it's central. Every currency is printed from a central bank. For crypto, it's fully decentralized, and anybody can take part in the ecosystem because it's open. And then when you talk about smart, which is programmable, you cannot program gold, you cannot program fiat, but you can do that in crypto. So these are some of the traits of money that you really need to check for you to understand. Does crypto really have value, or do they do it really have value? And you can see for crypto, most of all the things I've talked about is high, except the issue to do with government issuance. So crypto is not issued by the government. So the key things you really need to understand about any currency is scarcity, divisibility, we have utility, and then transferability. So aside from the question whether, sorry about that, aside from the question whether it's a store of value, a successful currency must also meet qualifications related to scarcity, divisibility, utility, transportability, durability, and counterfeitability. Let's look at these qualities one on one. I'll just peruse through. And number one is scarcity. Of course, uh, the key to maintain a currency value in its supply. So, of course, this is where governments now have to keep on checking the economy, and this is what we call monetarism. Monetarism is a microeconomic concept. Is a microeconomic concept. Uh, Concept that which aims to address the role of money supply in healthy and growth of or lack of in an economy. So this is controlled by any government. So the other thing is divisibility. How easy can you divide it into smaller units so that it can have that full function of being a medium of exchange? And of course, this one of the other quality you really need to check for something to qualify as a currency. The other thing is utility. A currency utility must have utility in order to be effective. Individuals must be able to reliably trade units of currency for goods and services. This is primary reason why currencies developed in the first place. So that participants in the market could avoid having to barter directly with goods. So utility also requires that currency easily be moved from one location to another. So that's what we mean by utility. Transportability is that it's easily transferable between participants in any economy, in an economy in order to be useful. So you can move it from one place to another, one country to the other. The other one is durability. A currency must be at least have a reasonable, durable time. Coins or notes must be made from materials that are cannot be easily mutilated, damaged, or destroyed, or which degrade with time. The other thing is a currency must be durable. It must also be difficult to counterfeit in order to remain effective. And this is where you will find that most of the governments, when they print notes, they will always come. If it's a new note, they'll tell you this is how you can tell whether this is a fake or original note. So now to assess Bitcoin's value as a currency, we'll compare it against the fiat, because I think if you understand fiat and then you come to crypto, you'll get to understand it better. You'll understand it better. So number one, comparing Bitcoin to fiat currency is the scarcity. When Bitcoin was born or launched in 2009, its developers stipulated into the protocol that the supply of the token will be capped to 21 million. This is where we talk of limited supply. So in terms of scarcity, Bitcoin is finite. It's only 21 million Bitcoins. And apparently currently, as you're speaking, we have over 18.5 million Bitcoins already in circulation. And how the supply is usually done is that every 10 minutes, a certain amount of crypto or Bitcoin are issued to the market. And this started in January 2009. It will go until the year 2140, around 2138, 2140 there, where like the supply every 4 years diminishes by half. So you find that every 4 years the supply is cut by half. Every 4 years the supply is cut by half. So, and the process of issuing new Bitcoin, of course, is through a process called Bitcoin mining, where people rent out or people do get power through blockchain technology to run this protocol that issues Bitcoin. And the work they do is just verification of transactions. So it's good to have that in mind. So the next Bitcoin halving will be in 2024, where currently we're receiving 6.25. So in the year 2024, it will move from 6.25 to 3.125 every 10 minutes. And this will continue until the last Satoshi is issued. So the approach, I think this so deep, and it's good to really I highlight these. I found this very interesting. Found it interesting that the approach to Bitcoin supply, the supply that Bitcoin has adopted is different from most fiat currencies. The global fiat money supply is often thought of as a broken into different buckets. So we have different buckets over here. We have M0, M0, M1, M2, and M3. So just to explain further here, MO refers to currencies in circulation. M1 is MO plus demand deposits like checks, checking accounts. M2 is M1, which is demand currencies plus saving accounts and small time deposits, known as certificate of deposits in the United States. So M3, we can consider it is M2 plus large time deposits and money market funds. So since M1 and M2 are readily acceptable or accessible for use in commerce, we will consider that these two buckets as the medium of exchange. This is now the currency that circulates throughout. Whereas M2 and M3 will be considered as money being used as a store of value. And I think this now what now the government used to like control economies and also supply and demand of currency circulation. So as part of monetary policy, most governments maintain some flexible control over supply of currency in circulation, making adjustments depending upon electronic factors. And this is not the case for Bitcoin. It's good to note that this is not the case of Bitcoin. So far, the continued availability of more tokens has to be generated, has encouraged a robust mining community. And it's good to know that there's so many companies that do mining of Bitcoin. And of course, because of difficulties since 2009 to date, a lot of them also have gone out of business. That's a story for another day. We can dig deeper on how Bitcoin is issued. So, though this is liable to change significantly as the limit of 21 million coins is approached, what exactly will happen at that time is difficult to say. An analogy would be to imagine the US government suddenly ceased to produce any new bills. Fortunately, the last Bitcoin is not scheduled to be mined until around the year 2140. This is what I was talking about. So generally, scarcity can drive the value higher. This has been seen with the precious metals like gold. And I think I was reading another article just the other day, and I think I don't know whether it's JP Morgan or Citibank that compared Bitcoin to gold in 1970s. And if you go back and check an ounce of gold in 1970s, it was very affordable. So they're saying at the price Bitcoin is today, compare it with gold in 1970s. And this is why I usually tell people it's a high time most of us dug deeper to really understand what Bitcoin is. So in terms of divisibility, it's good to know that one Bitcoin is divisible to 8 decimal places, and a fraction of Bitcoin is called Satoshi. It's of course named after the person, the developer or the developers who came up with Bitcoin. So it's good to know that. In terms of utility, it's good to know that the biggest selling point of Bitcoin has been the use of blockchain technology. Blockchain is a distributed ledger system that is decentralized and trustless, meaning that no parties participating in the Bitcoin market need to establish trust in one another in order for the system to work properly. This is possible thanks to the elaborate system of checks and verification, which is essential to the maintenance of the ledger and it's to the mining of new Bitcoins. Best of all, the flexibility of blockchain technology means that the utility outside the cryptocurrency space as well. So, of course, you see, you don't need a third party for you to do verification as long as you're in the protocol. So it's that open, and it's amazing because blockchain has proven that it's one of the best, the most secure kind of ledger you can use because number one, it's mutable. Nobody can edit anything once it's added on or onto it. When you talk of transportability, thanks to cryptocurrencies, exchanges, wallet, and other tools, Bitcoin is transferable between parties within minutes, at times within seconds, regardless of the size of transaction with very low cost. And I think this is one of the best thing I discovered about crypto that number one, you can send or you can send any amount of crypto from cents to millions within seconds with very low cost, and it doesn't know any border. You know, anywhere in the world, as long as somebody has a wallet, you can send them any amount of crypto. And the other thing is durability. And I think this is one of the major issues of fiat currency in the physical form. Of course, we've seen dollars, we've seen shillings, losing value in terms of getting torn, burnt, and stuff. But with crypto, because it's not something you can touch, it's not something you can see. Of course, in terms of durability, it's there. And I'll give you an example. I think was it last year where a gentleman who used a very old gentleman used to mine Bitcoin in the early days of Bitcoin mining through the PCs, through the computers. And he just remembered that he had downloaded a wallet and he was mining Bitcoin. And he went back to the laptop, the old desktop, and he found 1,000 Bitcoins there. And the story was funny because immediately he found a wife. So that's how durable crypto can be. That you can mine Bitcoin today and you can leave it as long as you don't destroy the gadget it's in. You can leave it for years, and somebody can come back, crack the codes, or use the seed phrase, and they are able to use crypto. So the other thing is counterfeitability, and it's good to know that decentralized blockchain ledger system, Bitcoin is incredibly difficult to counterfeit. So we've never had fake Bitcoin since Bitcoin came. We have other cryptos which have forked from Bitcoin, like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin SV, and the rest. But they are not the real Bitcoin. It's only that Bitcoin you can fork and start something that is not really competing with Bitcoin. So you cannot say I have a fake Bitcoin, because number one, is not something physical. Number two, the ledger cannot allow you to really do that. So everybody can attest whether Bitcoin is real. It's real. It's real because it's very hard for you to create a counterfeit of Bitcoin. And this is the issue which Satoshi Nakamoto was able to solve, which we call double spending. Double spending. So the only way one would be able to create a counterfeit Bitcoin would be by executing what is known double spending. This refers to a situation where in which a user spends or transfers the same Bitcoin in two or more separate settings. And I think this is what now made Bitcoin come to be. And the other key thing to note that if double spending can also only occur if we have what we call a so-called 51% attack. This is where like somebody can dominate the network with over 51%, but for over the 12 years Bitcoin has been around, nobody can has ever done that, because it will cost you more than what you really will get after you do that. So we are here to see that. So Bitcoin challenges: number one, Bitcoin holds up fairly well in the above categories compared against fiat. So I think if you compare now fiat with Bitcoin, Bitcoin has the characteristics of money are well really seen in Bitcoin than the fiat itself. But it's good to know that one of the biggest issues is Bitcoin's status as a store of value, because Bitcoin's utility as a store of value is dependent on its utility as a medium of exchange. And we base these term on the assumption that for something to be used as a store of value, it really needs to have some intrinsic value. And if Bitcoin does not achieve success as a medium of exchange, it will have no practical utility, and thus no intrinsic value, and won't be appealing as a store of value. But it's good to know that Bitcoin also, as I say something, fiat is backed by, like I said, faith between government and people. Bitcoin is not backed by any physical commodity or precious metal, just like fiat currency. And I've come to learn that Bitcoin is backed by cryptography, and cryptography is a mathematical science based on algorithms. So most of these currencies are just backed by, for government it's faith. For Bitcoin is mathematical algorithms, science called cryptography. So the other thing I think one of the other issues of Bitcoin is the issue of we have a whole lot of people who call it a bubble because of the value increase of value fluctuations that goes like I think the other day Bitcoin went from 19,000 to around 17,000 within some just few hours. And it's because of course, Bitcoin is pegged on demand and supply. Most of the value comes from demand and supply, and you cannot control how many people are selling and how many people are buying. So, of course, we'll see that until we Bitcoin is in its early stages. So, when cryptos are adopted and they go mainstream, we'll see the value of it stabilizing more and more as time goes by. So, the other difficulties or challenges of Bitcoin, and a big one is theft through hack or fraud. So if somebody frauds and tells you send me Bitcoins, it's not easy for you and most cryptocurrencies to reverse that back. If somebody hacks your account, it's gone, it's gone. Of course, for fiat currency, they are because of that party entities you can have that money reversed to your account, or it's very easy for regulators or governments to really follow up with people who do money fraud and stuff. So how much would Bitcoin have to be worth a rival in fiat as I finish my presentation today? So roughly speaking, M1 and M2, which includes currently worth M1, which includes MO, in currently worth over 4.9 trillion US dollars, which will serve as a current worldwide value of medium of exchange. You remember when I was talking about M1, M2, M3. So M1, M3 minus M1 is worth around 45 trillion US dollars. I just want to show you how much will this be. I don't want to read all this. And it's also good to know that today gold is worth around $2.1 trillion. Good to know that. So for Bitcoin to compare or to really like reach where this is in aggregate, our estimate for global value of store of value comparable to Bitcoin, including saving accounts, small and large time deposits, money market funds, and gold bullion, come to around 47.1 trillion USD. So the estimate for global value of medium of exchange and store of value, that comes to around 72.1 trillion US dollars. So if Bitcoin were to achieve 15% of this valuation, its market capitalization in today's money would be 10.8 trillion USD dollars, with all 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. And that would put the price of one Bitcoin at around $515,000. So for Bitcoin to really compete with fiat, that's the figure we are looking at. This is the figure we are looking at. And of course, we'll have said it has achieved that goal of really competing with fiat currency. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I hope we really see that Bitcoin, being a digital currency, has most of the qualities that money also has. And without wasting much further time, let me just share with you what has been happening across the globe in terms of news. And then from there we'll just go ahead and we can just have a small discussion. So from to my number one news is it's good to know that Bitcoin holds the number of Bitcoin holds hits an all-time high, and I guess these will be explained as I continue. It's good to know that Bitcoin is a decentralized payment network, so it's not really a store of value like we usually say. It's a network, but a few big players hold huge chunks of the coin. They hold huge chunks of the coin. So I don't want to go in details to these, but This week has been incredible in terms of a whole lot of people I follow in the finance industry and also investments. And they were talking about that they're expecting even companies like Apple and Google to jump in the rabbit hole of crypto and Bitcoin. So continuing, when you talk of big whales, Fidelity, one of the biggest institutions in the world, says Bitcoin's institutional adoption is having a watershed moment. And a Fidelity executive explains that 2020 has truly been the year for institutional adoption of Bitcoin. And of course, we know a lot of institutional investors have been looking at how can we come on board into the crypto space, because 10 years, it's almost 12 years, and Bitcoin has been called a bubble for so long. But then now, everybody now is looking at how can I hedge part of what I have in the crypto space, and especially Bitcoin, because it has proven that it's not going anywhere. So, into other news, institutional money may propel Bitcoin to 250,000 in 1 year's time, says macro investor. And this is Raul Paul. I think he's been so huge. I think he's one of the gentlemen I've been listening to his podcast this week. And he's big in Bitcoin. He's big in Bitcoin, and you can see some of the companies talking about. Square is owned by the founder of Twitter. We have PayPal over here, who came on board the other day. We have Grayscale. Grayscale is leading in terms of the companies that are holding, the institutional investors that are holding more Bitcoins in the whole world. And we'll see this happening more and more as we continue. So as we go on in terms of institutional investors, um, one of the just 1 second, let me enlarge this so that we can see. You can see here, we all know BlackRock. BlackRock is one of the biggest institutional. No, no, they are what? They are the BlackRock is one of the biggest property management company portfolio in the whole world. And of course, what we've seen is that one of their leaders is saying it's hard to say whether it's Bitcoin worth price in trading at today, but I do think it's a durable mechanism that do I think could replace gold to a larger extent? Yeah, I do, because it's so much more functional. So you can see Bitcoin is not just a store of value; it has more functionalities than gold. And if BlackRock, people who've been in I think they control over $6 trillion worth of their portfolio, and these are people who are saying Bitcoin has potential of even overtaking gold because of its functionalities. Moving on swiftly, of course, this week is more on institutions, and you can see a survey by JP Morgan says that more institutions are now buying Bitcoin. More institutions are now buying Bitcoin. And this is why I usually just ask people, as you can see, institutions are not even hiding right now when they're coming to buy Bitcoins. And this has been seen with Grayscale leading. Also, the company I was talking about, Square, Cash App, we have PayPal, and all these other big institutions coming on board to buy these Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. So moving on to China, we all know that when it comes to digital CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, China was the first country to talk of they are launching their digital currency this year. It's already gone through the test run, and they are going big with it. And of course, China's Xi asked G20 countries to be open and accommodating to CBDCs. Of course, they are jumping the gun, and also they want other countries to really like gear up, because of course the best performing CBDC that will be accepted globally will really lead to easier adoption. And I think China, this is what they are looking forward to, of course, to making digital yuan go global. and of course it will be giving competition to digital dollar if or when digital dollar comes to be. So it's good also to have that in mind. In Australia, if we move to Australia, Australian investment group with billions in AUM starts investing in Bitcoin futures. So you can see this is another institution. I think the whole of this week we've seen a whole lot of institutions coming on board. And these are Australian Security Exchange, listed investment manager over 100 Australian million dollars, billion dollars, Australian billion dollars, which is equivalent to around 73.6 billion dollars, US dollars in asset under management is getting into Bitcoin. So I think a lot of confidence is coming now from people who've been just watching Bitcoin from the side. Moving on swiftly, it's good also to note that if you go to Twitter, according to Econ Research, according to the data from at skew.com, CME is now the largest futures market for Bitcoin. Chicago money and these big because I think we never thought it will come to a point where institution investors are even they are now competing who will have the biggest bags. So CME coming to lead here, and you can see over here they are leading at 1.16. It's big time. It's big time. And I see a whole lot of more money coming from other investments into Bitcoin, and I think this is the reason as to why a whole lot of people are bullish when it comes to Bitcoin. By next year, we might see Bitcoin hitting another all-time high. So moving on swiftly to Singapore, Singapore's third largest bank appears to be building a crypto custody solution. This is one thing I was discussing with a friend of mine this week. That if institutions have not looked into Bitcoin really, if they just stay back and they just hold it, they will find themselves out of business. So of course, people are looking at how can we incorporate crypto so that we don't get out of business. And you can see these are the third largest bank in Singapore. They are looking at coming up with a next change or crypto custody solution. So we move to Russia, and it's good to know that in terms of regulation, Russia's prime minister proposes legal steps to bring order in the crypto market. And of course, what they are talking about is they are proposing recognizing crypto as a property. So if you are in Russia and you're holding some crypto, just know that the crypto you're holding will be subjected or will be taken as a property under the national tax code. And I think these some of the discussions are going through in so many countries. How do we treat cryptocurrency? How do we treat cryptocurrency? So let's make a number of changes to the tax code so digital financial assets can be recognized as property, and their owners will be able to count on legal protection in the event of any illegal actions, as well to defend the property rights in court. So I don't know how this will work because now this calls to somebody uh, really like openly sharing how much they are holding in terms of cryptocurrency. And I don't know how that will work. So we can wait and see how that will go. We move to Korea. In some other news in Korea, Korea lawmakers propose delaying crypto tax rule until January 2020. I'd love to be in Korea because at least now we have the whole of 2021 to really enjoy your crypto without taxation and stuff. So it's amazing. Moving on swiftly, Visa CEO looks ahead at the world of crypto, and it's good to know that the CEO of Visa is optimistic that more digital currencies will be running on the Visa network in the future. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. The old ways we've been using to transact currencies. If they don't incorporate crypto, I don't think they'll have any life. Their life will be their lifespan will be short. So you can see Visa doesn't want to be left behind, and they are thinking of how can we incorporate cryptocurrencies, because I think this is the future. Now, to Africa, it's also good to know that Nigeria's finance ministry to collaborate with SEC on crypto framework. Of course, a whole of countries are discussing on how to treat crypto. And of course, you have to look at other regulatory bodies in the whole world for you to come up with these regulations, so that crypto does not know any borders. So you cannot just come as one party and you just want to come up with your laws. You have to look at other bodies that govern, that come up with governing rules in the whole world, so that you can come up with cryptocurrency. So Nigeria, of course, is looking at that. And then down to South Africa, crypto assets in South Africa uh, will be considered financial products under regulatory proposal. So there's a proposal in South Africa to treat crypto assets as financial products. So you see, different countries are looking at crypto assets in different ways. And of course, I think there's a whole lot of discussion going on between governments and institutions and regulatory bodies on how to treat cryptocurrency. And I think with time, once some major countries like the and regulatory bodies like the SEC really like come up with this is how we want to treat Bitcoin, and the rest, a whole lot of other countries will just have to copy. So it's good also to know that Huobi is one of the exchanges, launches a regulated crypto exchange in Malaysia. So you can see more countries are welcoming crypto in their countries, and of course, Huobi is one of the biggest exchanges, also upcoming exchanges or being exchanges in the whole world, and they have started a regulated crypto exchange in Malaysia. So that's good news for Malaysians. So moving on forward, uh, eBay. We all know this eBay is one of the online market platform, and they have joined, or they have partnered with Lolly, and Lolly has been big in crypto. And of course, you'll be able to do a whole lot of shopping on eBay using Lolly, and you can pay with cryptocurrency and other like Bitcoin and the rest. So of course, these some things we are waiting, like Alibaba to do directly, Amazon to do these, and of course, it will increase adoption of crypto. And I think as I finish, it's good to talk about these. And this news talks about Facebook's Libra could launch its first stablecoin in January. This report says so. In January 2021, we might see this stablecoin from Facebook called Libra. So I think just the other day, SEC gave companies like Facebook to to come up with tokenized digital currencies, which we call stablecoins. And I think US is one of the countries that have been allowed. No, Facebook has been allowed now to go ahead and launch the stablecoin. I think these are discussions we've had before. And it's good to note that, like I always say, there are three types of digital currencies. We have cryptocurrencies, we have government-made currencies, which is CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and we have tokens and stablecoins, which are corporate-based. So that's all I wanted to share today. So let me check whether there is any question over here. I hope it has been valuable. Of course, I shared the link on YouTube over there. You can go through it. So drop in any question. There's someone asking, what is your take on an altcoin called Bitcoin Vault? You've dwelt 100% on Bitcoin. Is it still profitable to mine Bitcoin? If not, what is the best way to have a share of this highly profitable asset? Which external wallet would you recommend for long-term crypto storage? So there are a few questions that this Evelyn has asked. And to the first question, what my take on Bitcoin Vault? Of course, I've been reading so much about Bitcoin Vault, and it's just like any other altcoin, which has a use case. And yesterday, I was going through the social media, and I saw they have launched their Web key, and successfully. I think one of the people I follow, they did a reversal of that currency. So it has a very good use case, and I do believe there's future in it. Why I've dealt so much in Bitcoin is because Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, and in our podcast we usually don't really like advise or recommend any crypto you want to buy. We always say do your own research before you really get into it. Now, you've asked about is Bitcoin mining still profitable? I was mining Bitcoin for quite a while. And I think with time, I don't, if I'm holding it for long term, very long term, and a long time, I'm looking at 3, 5, 10 years, I think it can be profitable. But if you're just mining today for the sake of getting some income, I don't feel like it's really profitable. And profitable meaning how much would you as an individual take as being profitable. So there are better ways. Me for me, I usually tell people if you have some um, disposable income, you can just go ahead and buy cryptocurrency. You can buy Bitcoin and just hold it. And in terms of the best wallet you can use, we have external wallets. We call them cold storage wallets. And these are wallets that you can buy like Trezor. We have Nano, which you can buy and just you keep your assets offline because, of course, you only use them when you need them. So, Evelyn, yes, they are crypto, they are wallets like cold wallets, which you can just store your crypto in. And you can get that, I think, on Amazon. You can buy in these online platforms and they deliver them to you. Carol is asking, what does it mean for us who are in, and how many institutions getting into the crypto space? Now, for us who people who've been in the crypto space, BT is that already you are in. It doesn't matter how much crypto you're holding, at least you have something you're holding. And in terms of institutional investors, I was listening to one of the gentlemen I really follow called Pomp, and he was talking of Bitcoin will hit $100,000 by next year, based on the amount of money that is coming from institutional investors. Like I said, remember, Bitcoin price is pegged on demand and supply. So if we have more people coming to buy Bitcoin, what is in circulation reduces, and these would drive the Bitcoin prices high. So what is in for us if you're holding Bitcoin and you have one full Bitcoin right now? Current price of Bitcoin is around I think 16. Let me just check that. I can share with all of you. Let's check how much one full Bitcoin is currently. I think we are back to. Let me just share this. Let me just share the screen. So we are back to 17,000 for one Bitcoin. So if all the predictions that are being said out there comes to life, and by December 2021, one Bitcoin goes to $100,000, of course, if you liquidate it, then it means you have good money. In Kenya shillings, that will be 10 million Kenya shillings, right? So, what is in for you as a person? And this is the reason as why I usually tell people it's good to, even if, because Bitcoin is divisible to fractions, it's divisible to fractions. Let's say, for example, today you have $10. If you have $10 today, which is equivalent to around 1,000 Kenya shillings, you can buy a Satoshi. You can buy Satoshis. You'll buy 0.0005881, and you can just hold that. So if Bitcoin moves to $100,000, it means it's gone how many times? That's around 5 point something X, which means if we do 5X of this, that will be around $50, right? 5 point something dollars. So at $50, your Satoshi, if when Bitcoin goes to $100,000, to be 0.0029 for one. And this is the beauty about people who are already in the crypto space. And that's why Decrypt, for us, we are just here to enlighten you, to show you there's a bigger picture. Uh, to you, just taking part of your portfolio and putting it into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that are out there. But like we always say, information is just a background for you to go and do your own research. Do your own research. So any other question? Is there any other question? I hope Carol have answered. I hope Evelyn have also answered the question. What I'll do right now is to share our Telegram link. If you're not in our Telegram group also, just join in over there because there's so much we share, and I think we do a write-up on what is happening across the world every day in terms of crypto space. So you can always follow over there. We also do follow some good people who really do predictions in terms of Bitcoin market correction and stuff. So you can also pick one or two, three things as we continue to learn together. So uh, yes, so with that, I do hope that you've had a great session. Louis today was not with us. He's in another function somewhere. And I also want to congratulate anybody who attended the masterclass yesterday. I'll try to look for the recording so that you can also see that if you're in Kenya right now, it's very easy for you to buy Bitcoin on Binance Exchange if you have an account with Binance just through your M-Pesa. You can just go over there. I think one of these fine days I'll take through people how to buy crypto using mobile money platform, whether Airtel or money or M-Pesa in Kenya. So I think it's very easy. It's coming. Things are becoming easier in the space. That if I have an extra 1,000. I can just go ahead and buy crypto without having to go through an exchange, without having to go through a third party, which is peer to peer. I can just open an account and I just load it over there and I just buy Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency that I've done research and it has a lot of potential. So with that, we continue to grow together. We really hope that you are learning, and if you're learning, well, of course, invite people to join our platforms also. And I do wish all of you a great weekend ahead. Like I said, I'm down with the weather a little bit, but of course, when it comes to crypto education, I'm always fired up to share this info with people. So God bless you all. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. And may we keep stacking some Satoshis. So stack some Satoshis. And when Bitcoin hits 100,000 or $1 million, I hope all of us will have at least a share of that wealth. So God bless you all. If there's no any other question, I will call it a day so that I can take some rest. Just to do some more research and also learn. So God bless you all, and I really do appreciate you taking time to be with us. Have a great day.